Ooh, death, love, and heartbreak. It all went down in Salem this week, and we're breaking it all down for you right here on AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days, coming up now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, all of you Days of Our Lives fans. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days, where we give you a full recap of NBC's award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by my wonderful panel of hosts. See, I tricked it up there. You guys thought I was going to say guys or gals. We have the social media expert of life to my left.
That's me, Michael Mattis.
Michael Mattis, what's your social media?
What time is it, Tony? Because you can't seem to tell time. That's why we started late, y'all. But my social media is MLMattis1 for Twitter and MLMattis on Instagram.
Well, congratulations. You finally got it right. And I'm always on time. The time starts when I'm here. Chelsea.
Hello, I'm Chelsea Overrocker. So happy to be here.
And, of course, we have in green, looking lovely as always. Is it green?
Kermit. I was trying to think of
Kermit.
Oh. We're all off today. If you're watching live, thank you so much for tuning in live. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to AfterBuzz TV's dramas. That way you always get an alert when we're about to start the show on time. And also, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _ Dishin Days on the Twitter. The act is implied. And if you are a lover of all soap operas, make sure you tune in to Restless Rap, which is a recap of Young and the Restless, and of course the GH Report, which is General Hospital. And today we have the Bold Breakdown, because it's all going down on Bold and the Beautiful with James Lott Jr. and of course Miss Tammy Govea. Yay! That was the golf clap. So make sure you tune into that. And if you are listening to us on the podcast, hello, listeners. Make sure you give us 5 stars and a comment. We love to hear what you think about it, what you like about it, and what you want more about it. Oh, and that is all the church announcements. I feel like there's so many that I have to go through my head real quick and go, okay, got it. Before we dash into this week, we don't have a guest this week, but we've had
I know, it feels weird.
We've had guests for the past 3 weeks, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed them. It's been fun, getting to talk to everyone just about their storylines and everything like that. We had Stacey Hyduke, we had Paul Telfer, we had Teo Pinglis and Leanne Hundley and Camila Banos. It was
a busy couple of weeks.
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been. I have to say, I really enjoyed meeting Stacey.
Yeah. Those two are so funny.
They are great together.
They really are.
Cool.
I think we understood why the relationship works so well. And then when Teo and Leanne came, I just felt like there was so much history there.
So sweet between them.
Great.
That I can't wait to see how their stuff plays out.
Yes.
And then Camila is just she's just
so much energy. I
So
love
much.
her energy.
Yeah.
I like how she moved and then came in to do the show. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah,
I
she did.
know.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
like to
no,
know that.
I'm moving, I'm out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
She looked amazing. If it
She
was
did.
me just
Yeah.
all moving, I'd be all sweaty and gross. I'm like, you just look like you got off of a runway.
Yeah,
That's great.
So we appreciate all the guests that have stopped in this week. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure you go and check out all of our interviews from the past 3 weeks. You definitely don't want to miss out on the fun, the laughs, and the tidbits.
Surprises,
Yeah, it's a lot that's happened. All right, what do we think about this week of Days?
so much.
It was
Lots.
good.
steamy.
Yeah, had some love scenes.
Yes, it was good. It was
The
good.
music was really good.
Yeah.
Did you notice
The love
that?
scene
Yeah.
music?
It was like
Yeah.
Chris Isaac-y.
Yeah. It was very
really
romantic.
good music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the music that always starts it all. I thought it was a great week too. I thought it was very interesting, and a lot. We got some tidbits into some really character stuff. So I thought that was good. I think that made sense. Sure. It makes sense to me.
It makes sense.
Well, let's talk about it. It's now time to start Dishin Days.
Chelsea.
Ta-da! I love my little ta-da.
All right, so let's kick off with the storyline of the week. The whole Cricole and Ted and Stefan and Gabi and Brady and just everybody. First of all, Ted's dead.
Yeah.
So boo.
It's weird because I feel like now I sit and I go, was that the best option to like get rid of him?
Well, I think he's not really dead.
I mean, that's always
Going
that's
forward,
gonna
I will never believe that someone's dead.
exactly
Yeah,
like they can just so easily bring him back.
Which is good and bad.
You know,
I don't know the way they drug. I mean that body is dead.
That was
like,
pretty messy, wasn't it? Kind of gross.
Yeah.
Ew.
And they showed the squirting of the
That was gross,
blood and
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, Days special effects.
I mean, it was good, but I didn't want him to die. I was really hoping for a Kate and Ted moment.
Yeah.
She was so upset when he died, and it just
Yeah.
wasn't to save herself. It was
Yeah.
because she was really she really liked him.
A lot more upset than Hope was.
Yeah,
Did
Hope-
you get that vibe too? That Hope
That she
was
wasn't
like,
upset,
"Oh,
yeah,
he's
kinda.
dead. Okay, next. Where's the
Yeah.
necklace?
Detective work. Where are
dig it
we
through the
at?
trash.
I saw one of the Days of Our Lives groups posted what's next for Hope, and they had like Hope and Bo, Hope and Aiden,
No Hope and Bo.
and no, they were just going over her past loves, and then Hope and Rafe and Hope and Ted, and I looked at all of those, and again, and I've said it before, Bo and Hope were such a power couple, you know, but I still feel like the best fit for Hope was Aiden.
See,
Agreed.
tell me, because I don't see that. So what was it about Aiden? Because he's so
Aiden,
polar
it was
opposite?
just how the relationship came about.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the
It
things.
was antagonistic in the
It
beginning.
started kind of antagonistic, and then they naturally kind of grew to like each other, and then it grew into a romance. And I also think that Christian and
Daniel Cosgrove?
Daniel Cosgrove had a good chemistry.
Yeah.
And we just bought it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Very organic. We like to use
Yeah,
that word.
organic.
Yeah, it was
That's my
organic.
favorite word. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we think that Hope and Aiden were such a great couple.
I mean, again, it started off like most couples do. They didn't like each other, and then we watched the progression, and I think that at that moment we were all wondering, well, what's going to happen with Hope? You know, and I feel like we all were on, well, except Tammy, we all were on the Aiden train of like, oh, like this works, and when they brought him on the first time and then made him go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, we were like, oh man. But then he got brought on the second time and everything was explained. But then and I was just like, oh no,
why?
He
was a victim of the 50th anniversary because they got Peter Reckle back, so they had to break them up.
Yeah.
Because Bo.
Well, I don't see anyone on the landscape for her at this point.
She needs to know. I think
they bring in
Neither do
some.
I.
we've said this on a previous week. Hope needs to be with herself for a while.
Yeah, well, sure.
Until
I don't think
now.
that she needs to be immediately paired with someone else. You know.
I mean, but eventually though,
But for now, just let her be better. You know. Just,
yeah. But
Of course, she doesn't have a job, so I don't know what she's gonna do. But
well, I can tell you who's not an option is Ted. That's not an option anymore.
did you hear about Ted?
What?
Dead.
Ted's dead. And then, so as Cricole, or as Kristen is scuffling the body back to the apartment in this big old trunk.
Like that is.
Granted, there was a dolly. I don't know if you guys noticed
Yeah.
the
Okay,
dolly,
the
but
dolly.
there was a dolly. But I don't know. It was just, and I don't know if you guys thought this too, but when she was in Ted's apartment and how she was fixing it, I was like, are you sure you got this right, girl? Because, like, the way the body is, like, does that make sense? And I was like, are you not going to, like, knock over a couple lamps or something? Like, there was a scuffle?
Yeah.
And then
No,
I was
she just took the cash.
yeah, I was like, oh,
Necklace.
you just gonna steal the money? Oh, when she picked up the necklace, I was like, no, leave the necklace there.
Yeah.
We're too familiar with the necklace. Like, just leave it in the house.
But that's how it's going to tie everything together.
Yeah.
That dang necklace. That necklace.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big solve for this whole entire mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Stefan picked up the gun. Like, there was just...
It's such a cliche.
Yeah.
I know.
My living
Like when Ben
word.
picked up the lighter when the fire was
Yeah.
out. It's like, don't touch anything.
Like, he didn't pick up the gun immediately, and I literally had my arms crossed.
You were waiting.
I know you're going to pick it up. Go ahead.
And he did it like
Do
at the
it.
last second.
The last second.
I thought maybe he was going to call the cops or ambulance or something.
That
But
would be
that
so
would have
helpful
been
in so
so
many
great.
situations. Like,
It
just
would
call
be.
the cops. Don't touch anything.
But the fact that, like, one, the door was open to, to make it look like, the killer just left.
Right.
And he's like, hey, Ted, had a bad night. And
But there's blood on his hand. Ted's bloody hand
out.
is sticking out. And he's
Yeah.
like, hey, did you have a rough night?
If I were Stefan, this is what I would have did. I would, nope, and would have left.
Out of
I would
there.
have hit it.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, the more you're in that apartment, the more you're more guilty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
coming across guilty. Yeah, if it was me, I was like, the whole time, I'm like, get out of the apartment. Get out
Yeah.
of the apartment.
How many people are yelling at the TV, get out?
And I literally yelled, I was like, of course you touched the gun. Of course you did. Of course here comes Eli and Jack. Of course.
And tell me what the mindset is. Why do you pick up a gun?
Because
What's the rationalization?
Okay.
he thought the killer was going to come back into the apartment and finish. I don't know. So it was out of defense.
I'm with you.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
That's actually what I thought. I thought maybe he heard someone coming in, and so
Yes.
he went to pick up the gun, and it turned out to be Eli and Jack.
Okay.
But there was a delay because Eli and Jack. Well, I guess that does make sense because Eli and Jack was there. Maybe he thought it was the killer. He was like, "Oh, there's a gun right there, bam!"
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the only way that can make
makes
sense to
sense.
me.
Okay.
That's what I thought, but I was like, no. He should just got out of the apartment right away.
Well, someone who couldn't go into their apartment or hotel room was Tony DiMeras because Cole did
my God,
did
it's
the
such-
old suck on the
that was
door.
on the
Such
door.
a roommate situation. It's like,
Right.
don't come home right now.
Yes.
I'll let you know when you can come home.
I wonder
college.
why Brady gave into it this time. He's
Because
been
he's
so
Brady.
reserved.
Yeah.
But then he had that strong sense of Kristen, and I was like, oh, their love must be stronger than I
Oh,
thought.
But was it the tattoo?
Yes, it's a tattoo where
Yeah.
she was like,
Because you could see on her shoulder that something had been removed, and she chalked it up to a scar, right?
But like burn or something.
Yeah,
Burn.
and I think that's when he thought of Kristen and the tattoo on
Yeah.
her.
That's
And
a
then
good point.
Things are
Yeah.
starting to click.
I think he went to Nicole because he is scared to have those feelings for Kristen again because he knows this girl needs to get out of my life. So, Brady being Brady, he was like, well, let's try it with Nicole, see if it
Do you
gets rid
think
of
he's-
everything.
Do you think he still has feelings for Kristen?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Oh,
want
you
to,
could
but
tell.
Yeah.
You could tell just by that strong sense of after being with Nicole, he thinks of Kristen. Yeah. Yeah.
Not a good moment.
Yeah. There's
good.
definitely something there.
Do you think, though, if Tony did not come in the room when he did, do you think Kristen would have taken off the mask? Or at least told
I mean,
Brady?
it seemed like that's where she was.
Yeah.
She was going to tell him who she really was. But yeah, no, it didn't happen. Of course, it was interrupted.
Of course it was interrupted.
I think she wanted to just because Brady brought up Kristen, and it seemed like that would be a good segue.
But it started
yeah.
out, it opened with Kristen being Kristen in bed with him. And then that was in her mind, she was being herself. And then it changed to Nicole.
Question: did you all notice how Kristen was able to change back into Nicole before she came back to the hotel room after dumping Ted's body? Like she carries the
Yeah.
mask around in her
Yeah.
back pocket. I'm like,
Maybe
what?
she does.
She's got the teeth in her purse. She's got
Her little tramp bag.
a couple of masks. She probably has that Cuba thing mask in her purse. Who knows?
I was like, that was stealthy, girl.
Y'all don't keep a drag bag?
There you go.
No? Is it just okay?
Note to self.
Note.
I mean,
Now you know what to get me for Christmas.
a drag bag?
Yeah.
A drag bag.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What else happened in that?
So many things going on at once.
We had we haven't talked about Gabi. Gabi and her
Yeah.
her position in this whole mess.
What
Gabi.
a force.
Gabi.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful to watch.
So it wasn't like
so
last
good.
week we said that maybe she was just imagining kicking Stefan out.
I was waiting
Clearly,
for that.
was not
That
the
was
case.
not the
She kicked him to
case.
the curb.
And I love her talking to the portrait of Stefano. I want more conversations, more monologues with him. They're awesome.
And yet she still defended him when Rafe came and told her that
She's
Ted had
hiding
died
it.
and that he was a suspect. Immediately went to the defense of
'Cause she's
Stefan.
fallen in love
she's
with him.
she's got the
She
feels for him.
is.
Well, yeah.
But she's trying to stay strong.
But Stefan knows that too, and she knows that too, and now they're both just kind of fighting it because Stefan is pissed at what she did, but he still like really, really cares about her.
he said to her, I've lost my power over you, and you've lost your power over me. And then they just kind of stared at each other.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's not true.
It's a game they're playing
It's
with
a
each
game.
other.
And that chessboard, were you just waiting for the pieces to go flying across
Yes.
the room?
Oh,
And
yeah.
eventually
How
it did.
fun would have that been
Remember?
from that scene? Wham!
Because he was leaning over the chessboard at one
Yeah.
point. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, those pieces are going to go flying across the room.
Did you see the one where she popped the champagne bottle? They showed it, like the cork hit one of the pieces, and then there was Gabi with a champagne bottle.
I missed that.
You missed that.
I missed that too.
How can I miss a champagne moment? That's
know.
I don't
horrible
know.
to me.
I didn't miss that little tidbit.
But you and your champagne.
I know. I saw the champagne bottle. I'm like, vroom, right there.
I'm focusing on that.
Something interesting that I thought about when Camila was here last week was not that I forget about Gabi with a Y, but Camila mentioned it, and I was like, oh,
It's so true.
that's why there's such a fiery thing between Gabi with an I and Stefan, because he essentially fell in love with like the crossover of Abby and Gabi, but like this is the realization, this is the real Gabi.
The fire.
Yeah.
In both worlds, that fire
Yeah.
is there.
So now it kind of makes sense as to why he gravitated towards Gabi
Yeah.
with an I, because Gabi with a Y no longer exists.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that.
Well, only in the mind of Abigail Devereaux.
Whenever that piano starts playing.
Oh God.
But she's loving it, Gabi is. I mean, I love how she replaces the picture of Stefan, and it's her own. She's like, Gabi, girl, you got this.
Okay, but the only thing about that picture, I lived for the moment, but I was just kind of like, girl, you didn't have no other like power play picture of maybe you in like a Gabby chic suit, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I know she like that high school like, Grease style like.
See her
It was-
high school pictures.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like the ones that you go and you have like the little 90s hairstyle and you're just like,
I feel like whoever's in charge of the photos, like, it's done on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, the Xander Nicole selfie, and then this one. I think it's meant to get, like, a little giggle. I think it's meant to get a,
yeah.
a little
Well-
chuckle out of us.
Well, remember Paul said that was it was their idea to do the photo like that, and they thought
It was Paul and
Ari
and Ari's,
and they
right.
thought it would never like happen.
And there it was.
And then there's
happened.
this serious moment that Greg Vaughn is having with this silly portrait that they have.
It was so great, though.
And it really
worked so
resonated
well.
with the fans.
Yeah.
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 But she's I think Gabi bit off more than she could chew.
But that's her.
Yes, and even with who has a tape recorder anymore? But Gabi does, and she's trying to dictate this.
I know, right?
Press release.
We use our phones now.
And she's stumbling over it because
She got frustrated.
She had flashbacks.
well, yeah, because again, she loves Stefan.
Yeah. She's digging herself in a little hole now
Yeah.
because after Kirkle knows what her true motive is, she's like, oh, I'm just waiting until I can swoop in at the right moment. So I love her, but Gabi's slowly sinking.
Well, I was more thinking like Gabi, girl, slow down.
Exactly.
Because like the ink hadn't dried on their marriage certificate, nor on the fact that she's the new CEO, and she was already like, get out of the house. Like, give it a week. Give it a week, play along, and then like maybe in the midst of like in the bed, you just pull them close and go, get out of my house.
Ooh, you got
That would have
plan.
been good.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Because their love scenes are on fire. So at the end of it, they're just like, get out.
Yeah.
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 K Coco Andy 1 said, right? She don't have an iPhone?
I know, for the memo, so it's funny.
Everyone keeps Sarah, you keep saying 50 Shades of Stabby.
Hello.
Oh.
That sounds like another DOOL app, kind of a
spin-off,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's happening there. We saw Anna for 10 seconds.
Yes.
And her return to Salem.
Looking gorgeous.
Walking in on Kate and Roman.
That was good.
Speaking of Kate, she was affected by Ted's little murder,
Yes,
too. Now she thinks she's next. This kind of struck a little fear into her.
Well, see,
again.
I think that's why she was so affected, is because I think she thinks that Kristen got rid of Ted.
Yes.
And held true to her word.
And I keep forgetting that Kate thinks Nicole and Kristen are both
Separate.
Yeah.
They're separate.
I keep forgetting. I'm like, oh wait, she thinks Nicole is still alive too. She
I'm
doesn't know
waiting for
Kristen-
that for her to connect the dots, and it
Right.
hasn't happened.
She almost did.
She almost
Yeah.
did.
She almost did.
Yeah, she's keeping it closer and closer. Do you think Tony is going to protect Kate? Or do you think he's going to go with Kristen saying, we're in trouble here? Or do you think he's going to keep his mouth shut?
Well, he already did.
Yeah,
because when Kate was like, I can't keep this in anymore. Kristen is alive, and started divulging. He went back to Kristen and said, she said this.
Kate,
so
she warned Kristen.
But he covered for her.
Yeah.
I was hoping he'd be honest with Kate and say, well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
But he's
And I
kind
think
of
that's
covering both.
Because Teo was saying that Tony wasn't as good as he, like, this time around Tony is a little
There's more
mischievous.
duality.
Yeah,
He's
so maybe
rusty.
this is an example of how he's like being like that.
he's kind of playing both sides of the fence.
Yes, for as long as he can until he gets his honor back.
I just don't think, I just don't think it's going to get to the point where he's going to let it get too far, where Kristen is going to obviously kill Kate, or hurt her. But I think he has a heart for her too, and he cares a lot about Kate.
Well, Kate hasn't done anything to cause Kristen to go to that point. Ted was pushing it. It was like, buddy, you need to just
Simmer down.
Well, I think that was part of Ted's demise, was that he spoke way too much when he was with Tony and Nicole.
Yeah.
And just saying, like, your baby is alive, and Kristen is out there, and just kept going da 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 da. But then this is what I found interesting. Right before Ted died, right? He envisioned him going for the gun.
That was such a cool effect.
Yeah.
And like there being a tussle and then a shot fired. So it's almost like he knew someone's demise was coming. I think see, again, this is when I was like, Ted, run. So when because you always know when the mask is coming off because somebody does this, right? So Nicole did that, and Kristen revealed to Ted, I'm both. He was already outside the room. I would have went, pew.
Right.
I would have run Forrest, run.
Yeah. Instead, he went back in the room like,
Why would you go
do that? Yeah.
You know what? I feel like here's another. I feel like we're gonna do this a lot. Here's another DOOL app suggestion. Soaps in real life. Like, what would you actually do in this situation?
That's a great idea.
And you can take a scene, redo it with like the most logical reaction.
Yeah.
Because if they had replayed that scene, once Kristen went with the mask, I would have went and just like hit it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Went to the police station.
There were a few moments in this particular.
Call the police.
this
It's so simple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
While I was running.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly.
Are we gonna? Is this a tidbit with Eli being commish?
Okay,
Well, you
so
mention it.
speaking of calling the police, I'm loving Eli.
Oh yeah.
Me too. I feel
I'm
like
so excited for him and Lonnie.
Yes.
I was like, oh my god.
I can't wait till their storyline starts picking up.
Yes.
Yes.
It's gonna be great.
I want a Christmas wedding.
Aww.
That would be cute.
You already planning to win.
I am.
I'm stuck on the fact that he has now accepted the position of commissioner, and it fits him.
It
and
does.
It
It
suits
fits him
him
so well.
At first, I thought he's awfully young.
Mm-hmm.
But he's so good.
He's so
Yeah.
mature for being young.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, he's got it, hands down.
And he's smart too.
Yeah.
He's really smart. And he has this way where he doesn't get into the drama. Like, he keeps like this cool face, and behind he's like, okay, he's like thinking in my mind, what am I going to do? Am I going to go here or here? But he doesn't really let any expression show where anyone's onto him.
The poker face.
Yes, and that's why he's so good at this job. Yeah.
Excited, really excited for the storyline.
Me World 2 said, Ted had a Raven Baxter moment. I had a vision. I'm gonna die. For those of you who don't know who Raven Baxter is, that's from the Disney show That's So Raven, where she could see visions.
That's so Raven.
Oh, I'm glad you did that, because Nathan Casilla said Ted's vision. Cue That's So Raven vision music.
So good.
Oh goodness. Okay, I think we covered everything.
Well, do we need to talk about the necklace in the trash?
We did.
We did already?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
A little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
We think the necklace is going to be.
But there was her
tricky.
dropping the money and that moment of confrontation
With Hope.
With Hope
And Kristen.
and Kristen.
Which I was when Hope walked up and was like, "Excuse me, ma'am," I'm like, "You didn't see Nicole in that dress? Like, that dress doesn't."
That's what I thought. I was like,
nothing-
doesn't she see like the dress?
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell because Kristen wasn't wearing like a coat or anything.
No, she wasn't wearing a coat.
So
I just
No.
love the sound of her heels running.
I know.
She just
I was like,
takes off,
I
she's
feel
like-
like Stacey Hayter just ran off
That
screen and
was
started stomping.
hysterical.
Yeah.
But also, she was like tearing. She did all that in heels.
Yeah.
Of course.
Carrying Ted and stuff. They could at least put her in a tennis shoe.
No, that's not how it works.
Something
Women are
like
always in high heels.
Yes.
Rafe and Hope did have that moment of trying to piece everything together, and Hope really does think for sure that Stefan is being set up.
Oh, yeah. She
I think she had a slight moment of doubt when he got brought in as the for killing Ted, and then he tried to like flip it and be like, "Where were you?" And she was like, "You ain't about to you ain't What you're not gonna do is So that was that.
I love, though, how Hope and Rafe are, like, putting it together. Them two
Yeah.
working together
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and they brought up that
Yeah.
moment. It's like, we did work well together. Remember?
Yes, remember those
Yeah, we
days?
did.
They did, but they're just not.
No, I wouldn't.
together.
No,
No.
not relationship. But it's great that they're working together to solve this case because they're putting it all together. Now, if they start talking with Kate, them three together, boom,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
All right. Moving right along, because that was.
A lot.
These storylines that we're talking about are like the two that they really focused on throughout this week. So next was Rex and Eric and Sarah and Xander. The best moment for me
Maggie.
out of this was Xander and Rex drowning their sorrows at the bar.
Did not see that one coming. He's
No.
like, here you
They're
go,
so
mate.
cute
Take
together.
a free drink. And Rex is like,
I don't wanna-
what am I doing?
Like, I don't want to take a drink from someone who is in love with my wife.
Slept with her.
My favorite
Oh, that too.
moment was in the beginning where Sarah was like, I just told my husband I'm in love with someone else. And Xander, like, his eyes just lit up. He's like, I've been waiting for you to realize that we were supposed to be together.
And then she's like, "Ew, not you."
Not idiot. You idiot.
Oh my God, Xander's expression of just being crushed was priceless. I laughed out loud.
Oh, he was so sad.
So sad. He was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, well, I might as well drink with Rex. So I can't have her.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that the truth finally came out. Again, I was like, okay, y'all, Samadana, you literally just told Rex how you felt. You got caught.
Yeah.
And then you go and, like, sleep
It's
with...
Sarah.
But,
She goes and gets what she wants.
But, girl, like, calm down.
No.
Like,
That didn't surprise me.
less than, 5 hours? And then she's already in bed
Same
with
night.
Eric? Yeah,
Same
same
It
night.
was the same
Yeah.
night.
I mean, at least
Carpe diem.
I would have taken some time.
Seize the Seize the Eric.
Seize the Eric. Seize the Eric. Take some time, though. But she's going to get hurt. She's going to get hurt at the end. I'm waiting for it.
Bye.
By Eric. Yeah, she is, because he still loves Nicole.
Nicole's not coming back.
But once it all unravels, and he realized, oh, that wasn't Nicole the whole
But
time.
Kristen said Nicole was dead.
Yeah.
Like she was talking to who?
I think if anyone's gonna get hurt, unfortunately, it's gonna be Eric again. And we're gonna get more
Yeah.
brooding, woe's me, Eric.
Yeah. But think once he realized it, I don't know. I just think once he realized that Nicole wasn't really being Nicole, it was Kristen, then I think even though Nicole's dead, he's going to take some time for himself, because he even said, Sarah's always saying, oh, you're going to go back to Nicole. He's like, no, she doesn't want me. She doesn't love me anymore. But it's not Nicole.
Yeah.
So when he realizes that was Kristen, he's going to be really upset that Nicole's dead, and he's going to say, Sarah, I'm sorry, but I can't do this with you.
And then she's going to go to Xander.
Yes.
So she won't be getting hurt. She'll be getting hers.
Yeah.
Eric will be the loser again. Predictions by Chelsea and Michael.
I'm just here. I'll wait until, whatever happens.
All right.
Good for you.
Well, who are we rooting for in this? Are we rooting for,
I'm rooting for
Sarah
more,
and Eric,
for
or
more
Sarah and
cookies and
Xander?
cream with Maggie and Xander.
Yes.
Those are cute.
That was
Like
a
a
cute
little,
moment.
I'm
the little
rooting for.
mutual
I
sharing
love
of ice
them
cream.
so
I
much.
love- See, that's why I'm rooting for Xander, because I think Maggie would be such a good mother-in-law to him.
And she said to Xander as much that, I'm sorry that my daughter doesn't have feelings
Yeah.
for you.
That's
Yeah.
empathy for Xander.
Yeah.
She cares for him.
And I like Xander because he's not he's a two-dimensional character. He's got his bad side and he has his good side.
Yeah.
Whereas Eric is just always now he's always the loser, but he's always like the do-gooder. He doesn't have like that bad side.
And he wasn't always like that. On Twitter, I saw that they had a big flashback with Jensen Ackles when he portrayed Eric, and it was a whole Nicole and Greta situation. That was good. I just don't remember this Eric being so, doing the not right thing.
No,
but just,
Eric's always been like kind of an altruistic, yeah.
Yeah.
When he went into the priesthood, and I
think that's what it
when
is.
everything
Yeah.
changed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I just remember back in the 90s, when he had that whole triangle with Greta and Nicole, that was spicy. That
Yeah.
was good. And now it's kind of like he's kind of a little bit he wasn't a love triangle with Rex, and it just, like you said, was...
I just don't think he needs to be in love triangles with his brother.
His brother.
Yeah.
I think that's
That's kind of an ongoing tired pattern that they need to break.
Yeah, but what were okay, so I had a moment when I was watching Sarah and Eric kiss on the couch right before they went into the room to, I thought, I'm not sure about this. Like, I felt like I was rooting for it before, but then I wasn't sure how I felt about it then. Like, I guess I felt like I should have been happy, but I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
To be honest, the best love scene this week, I would still say it was Nicole and Brady. That was hot. With Eric and Sarah, it was like, okay.
I was like, too soon, girl, too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon, girl, too
Yeah,
soon.
it just didn't feel right.
But the way they filmed it, I was like,
Yeah.
That tattoo.
Both tattoos.
Like, holy
Yeah,
moly.
she has tattoos. Yes. I love tattoos.
Me too.
you went into tattoo land just now.
Yeah,
We're going through a Rolodex of
We lost
tattoos.
Chelsea. Where'd she go?
I know. I'm not going to get a tattoo personally myself, but yeah, some guys with some tattoos.
We can carry it.
They can
Absolutely.
do. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, ooh.
It's like nice moment.
I kind of feel like, it feels like this week the light bulb finally went off because Rex even mentioned like everyone in town knew about this
true.
except me, and I was just like, girl, where have you been? Weren't you standing there when she kept saying, no, come over to the house. We don't have plans. We're good. It's like that wasn't
Yeah.
a big clue.
He didn't want to see it, so he didn't see it.
Maybe,
go.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like this week with the character of Rex, I was like, I felt bad for him, but then I also started thinking like, oh, they could have done a lot with this.
And we said the same about Ted as well.
Yeah, like when he sat with Chloe, I was like, oh, this would have been an interesting match.
I thought that's how they were gonna go eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I thought so too, but I liked Rex's exit. I think it was good. I loved just with the actors itself, how him and Chloe had that last scene, because that's cool, with him being, But there's still room for Rex to come back. He's just going to Chicago. There's so many ways they can tie him back in.
Definitely open-ended.
But
Yes.
everything just happened so quickly. It's like I quit my job and I'm leaving, and then but Kate was not having it. Kate was like, I'm gonna go down to the. I'm like, your son is grown.
But that's Kate. She always
Yeah.
meddles, right?
She always
best.
meddles.
That's her
She
baby.
always.
And their children are always right.
Yes.
And then when she mentioned to Roman, guess who's alive? Tony. I was like, he wasn't surprised by that.
He's like, what else
I
is
was
there?
like, that was.
There was a moment where Kate and Tony were talking. It was mentioned in the chat room, and I remember thinking, like, okay, this is just the new normal in Salem, where Tony, she asked Tony, like, how are you possibly alive? And he's like, I was the first one to take Dr. Rolf's serum. And she goes, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, okay.
It doesn't surprise anyone
It does now,
anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
oh, okay.
normal in Salem now for people
Yes.
coming back from the dead.
So
Okay.
I put on our Insta story.
Such a great photo.
If
gosh.
if our fans thought that Rex should have left Salem, and we have like over 100, just about 100, and most of the people said no, Rex should not have left Salem.
While he bugged me day in and day out, not to the point where I wanted him gone.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
I
They could've
enjoyed
just put him
being
in-
bugged by
written
him.
something
Yes.
else for him.
This
Yes.
is like I think that like right off the bat when he was just kind of like painted as this bad guy who cheated and everything like that, I think that was their way out for Sarah and Rex. And then I think that, you know, with the mistake with Xander and love for Eric, I think that triangle could have been better while they figured out Rex and what he could have been doing. I don't know.
If he stayed on, I was actually rooting for him and Chloe. They've had a couple of great moments
Yeah.
the past couple of weeks, so I would have voted for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
And Kayla was around. That was
Kayla was
always
around.
like,
That was actually
she's
supposed to be a
always a
tidbit, but
pleasure.
yeah, that was our
That's
last tidbit. But
always a pleasure to see
Kayla was
her on the canvas.
hopping around like she does.
Yeah. All right, we've got a bit of news before we keep on going, Michael Mattis.
Well, we just want to say thank you for making us here at AfterBuzz the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we need your help. If you're watching us on the YouTube right now, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating and make a comment. But no matter where you are, leave a comment so you can get involved with our conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us in what we love to do. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows.
This announcement brought to you by the kind folks here at AfterBuzz TV. All right, now it's time for tidbits. I love how I try to make that as if it's two different people talking. And it's just me. So in our tidbits, we have Jack, Jennifer, Abe, and Eli. I love when Abe was just like, how you gonna walk by us and not?
So good. Yes.
And Jack just kind of turned around. Oh, hey, Abe. And I was like, y'all do have a friendship
Yeah.
that
Right.
goes back decades that you can't remember, obviously. But Abe was not having it. He was like, I almost felt like I heard Abe go, bruh, we was sitting over there. You saw us,
You
right?
missed us.
And Jennifer was always like, don't
Yeah.
do that.
And Jennifer's just,
It's really sad.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just they're on and off. It's just the same Jack and Jen scenario.
Yeah.
So I'm just ready for that to kind of get over.
The hump.
Well,
Yeah.
Get over the hump.
I now wonder, now that, so Eve is just,
She's apparently just out of the picture. We didn't see her at all this week.
Yeah.
I guess the divorce isn't final yet.
No.
That's too
No.
quickly.
No.
But yeah, in the process of getting divorced, and she got fired.
but they didn't have any sort of exit for her.
No.
They did show
Well, I
her
don't
last
think-
week in the park. She had a box,
Yeah.
and then she went off screen. But after that, no, we didn't really hear anything about.
So no one cared
what's she
to
up
just
to?
say bye to Eve, like not even Chloe?
I guess not. No.
Okay.
Well, it's not like
Or maybe it
she's
happened off screen.
bye-bye. She just got fired.
Yeah.
Right?
She's
I mean,
gone.
Eve's probably somewhere licking her wounds
Yeah.
and plotting her next scheme
Yes,
of how
against
she's gonna against Jen and
Oh
Jack
yeah.
now,
Oh yeah.
because now she's an adversary. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jack ain't her friend no more.
I'm just like wondering what is next for Eve.
Oh, I'm sure they'll think of
They'll
something.
think of
I'm sure she'll
something.
come up with
She'll come
something.
up.
She'll get into
I want
cahoots with
more. The scenes I love the most. One of the scenes I love the most are when Eve and Jennifer just go back and forth
So
at it.
good,
Yeah.
They're so
They're really
good.
good.
So good. It's so enjoyable.
toe
to
for
watch.
toe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving the dynamics between Jack and Eli. Like
Yeah.
they work
Yes, they
really
make
well
There's a
good
together.
respect between each
Yes.
other.
I love it.
I still think that he's like, his old self is just kind of like cracking through.
Do you think those memories will come
Naturally.
back on their own?
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
They've already started. He remembered the name of the ship.
Oh, Loretta.
Loretta, yeah.
Yeah. This
So
has
that
been
little
so
tidbit
long.
came through.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Side note, back to Kate and Tony. Tony did mention that he was the first recipient of the serum.
Right.
So that explains how maybe he, obviously came back, but obviously came back with his memories.
With his memories, yeah.
Maybe somewhere along the line,
Right, okay.
There can be.
the antidote, it got a little shaky.
Yeah.
And they were just
Yeah.
like, oh, we haven't had this before because it worked fine on this person.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they did it like that. Like, I'm glad that like he didn't have his memory and all this kind of stuff. It's like he's fully aware, So maybe like the last 3, that was a bad bet.
Yeah. I can't deal with a bunch of people walking around with no memories.
Not knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
And sticking with them, she was scared she was so scared she fainted.
That was such an amazing moment when Kate sees Tony.
That was good.
Yes.
That
I was wondering if there was going to be anything between Kate and Tony because it wasn't mentioned when Teo and Leanne were here. I think he mentioned Lauren once, but it seemed to be like the focus was going to be Tony and Anna. But I like that Kate is in it because obviously his twin was her husband.
Yes.
And I think even, of course, was it Tony or was it Andre? I think Tony and Kate at some point had a thing. But again, like I need to remember whether it was actually Tony or whether later on it was rewritten that, oh no, that was actually Andre.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
chemistry. I saw chemistry between them this
Yeah.
week. Yeah. That's why I'm thinking Tony's not going to let anything happen to Kate.
Yeah.
I love that moment really quick when they're in the town square, Tony and Kate, and Tony gets the text, "Don't come home."
Yeah.
And he says to Kate, "Can I buy you a drink?"
And she was like, yes.
She's like,
Yeah.
"I would love that." I was like, "Oh my
But-
God, that's such a
So
good moment."
good.
But when she said it like that, it made me feel like she was thinking Andre, but she knows it's Tony, but I think there's a part of her that's like, oh,
Just being as close as you can
I
be,
see your
right?
face, Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that.
Did you like them together, Andre and Kate?
I did. I think there was
yeah.
something about them that worked too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
This is surprising.
I liked Stefano and Kate, and I liked Andre and Kate.
Kate always just needs a very powerful man. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
someone who can hold his own, someone who is just as mischievous with good intentions.
I liked her with
As she is.
Victor.
I
like, way
loved
back
her
in the
with
day, too.
I loved
Yeah.
her with Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs,
like a male equal counterpart. Yeah.
Well, that's why Ted would have worked great for her because
Master
I
manipulator.
think
Yeah.
Ted was just, he always had like the kind of like wussy side though that I felt
He would
like
hide
maybe
behind
a
her
turn-
skirts kind of
a little
thing.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, she was the one calling the shots
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
whole thing.
but it's okay to to have that sometimes. It's like, don't worry, boo, I got it. Like that's how Kate would have been, maybe. I mean,
I feel like she just would have been like, grow up hair,
yeah, like
Snap out of it.
yeah, very that.
snap out of it.
Before we get into our segments, we have the one and only, my chocolate twin. I can see out of the corner of my eye, I feel like we have on the same color scheme.
Kinda,
We do.
yeah.
You guys do.
It never fails. James Lott Jr. is here.
Hi,
y'all.
James.
How you guys?
He
For the
came-
fans. For the
he came
fans.
busting up in here all early
Like I used
because he's about to do
Like I used to do
breakdown.
all the time.
Yeah,
I used to always drop in. I actually watched this week.
you did.
Yeah, I
Okay, so we've talked about everything.
I know
You're
I
late.
did, yeah.
This will be our James Lott Jr. What are your thoughts about this
Well,
week?
first of all, does anybody have any questions about like who Tony is or?
Well, slow down.
Okay,
we're gonna
sure.
get to
people
that.
been sending me questions like,
Well, yeah.
James, what's the who are these people?
I know how to handle
Yeah,
this. You
yes.
know I'm a professional.
Yes.
I got this.
You're professional something. Shady something. Shady something. Shady something. Shady something.
It's all right. It's old age.
Yes.
What did you think about this week? Because we felt like there was a lot that happened this week.
There was a lot that happened this week, which I love.
What did you? What
I
storyline
enjoyed
this week did you enjoy? The most.
Teo Pengelis being on the screen just lightens up everything.
Everything.
I really
Right?
like
Yes.
Tony. I like
The way he's playing him. He's not Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not Andre.
Yeah.
And he's interacting with the same people. Like he's interacting. I mean, but it's like it's
different.
It's different. Him and Kate. I was like, I never thought of Tony and Kate together.
Yeah.
But I could,
Okay, so
I see it.
my question to you,
Yes.
like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Tony and Kate had a little thing. I don't know if it was like a full-on romance.
It wasn't
like
full-on
back
romance.
in like 2000, late 90s.
It's a flirtation kind
or
of
like
thing. Yeah.
whatever. But did that turn out to be Andre?
That turns out it is Andre. Remember?
Because they rewrote it.
Yes, they rewrote the history.
Yeah, like
That
basically
whole
everything,
time.
all of Tony from like the 90s into the was actually
Yes,
Andre, right? Okay.
Exactly. That's what they
Got it.
rewrote it. So
Oh
it's
my
actually
gosh.
it's always Andre. That's the weird
always
thing.
been Andre.
Because they rewrote the history of him. They brought
Yeah.
Andre back.
Exactly. Okay.
One phone call and things can change on days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I have to say, I'm really enjoying Gabi.
Oh,
We
yes.
all are.
So we love her.
We all are.
It is the bomb.
Where's her music?
She
Little message.
but she kind of needs to slow down a little
Yes,
bit because
yes.
I feel like yes, she got what she wanted. However,
Yes.
comma,
Yes.
like slow it down,
She
sister
needs
girl.
Kate to do that.
She does.
Yes.
They need to have that mentor conversation. Of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's coming. Maybe
yourself.
that's something
Yeah.
we haven't heard
That
yet.
could be coming.
You know.
I hope so.
Good point. And now this last thing, I wish they didn't kill Ted off.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
Well, we wish they didn't kill Ted. They could have done something different with him
Yes.
and with Rex, Kyle Louder.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish Rex wasn't leaving.
Rex, I will say this, I have no problem. You know, I love Kyle, it's my buddy. The character was wasted.
I think Tony mentioned it earlier. They off the bat they just made him this awful character,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
a cheater, like a serial
Right.
cheater.
But
he had no hope.
But
Right,
I feel
exactly,
like that was
exactly.
a great way to part him away from Sarah and let Sarah and Xander and Eric
Develop stuff.
have
Yeah.
that. And then he developed something with someone totally different.
Should've.
And then
Chloe.
We
Yeah.
thought Chloe.
Yes.
and then who
A
knows?
broy reunion.
Maybe
Yes, totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Maybe it would have maybe it would have been even more of a mess because then Sarah would have saw, oh, you gonna be good for this hoe, and then there still would have been some
Yeah.
love obviously for Sarah.
Yeah.
So then it's like they're fighting against
agree.
their feelings, but then they have feelings for like it would have been.
Drama.
It could have worked.
It could have worked.
Yeah.
It could have
could've
totally
done
worked.
it.
But killing Ted off, that's the only person I liked with Hope.
Well, we thought Ted
No.
would be better with Kate.
No, I think them together too, but I'm just thinking Hope, I mean, I don't care about Rafe, sorry for folks, I didn't like Rafe and them together. I just like, she was floundering around and she kind of made him, I saw a little side of her I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still team Hope and Aiden.
Yeah, I don't sound like
Always
that. I
and
mean, Dana
Always and
Crosgrove.
forever.
Dana Crosgrove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Hello.
he was
The bomb.
I
Love
think
him.
they would have worked great together. I mean, we never saw that eyebrow move up more times than anything.
My girl. That's right.
All right, so we are now going to go into our segments. And I am going to, because I'm the professional and he's here, we're going to have a moment where you can kind of talk about Tony and Andre just to clarify things with us. And Ryan in the booth, hopefully on our soundboard, there's still something that says, look who's related. Look who's related.
There it is.
Nice.
My old segment. My old segment.
I'll call for that, Ryan. Bear with us. After the moment of the week, we're gonna do that. Thanks, Ryan. You're great. But we're gonna get into my segment because it's all about me. Right now, it's Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Okay, now listen. When you are this much of a boss bitch, right? And you look around the house and you think to yourself, listen, I can't replace Stefano's picture, but I'm about to replace Stefan's picture with my own. And it's going to be me, senior high school, 2000, whatever.
High School Musical.
Letting people know who's running this house. That's right. My 3 snaps goes to Gabriella DiMeras
That's right.
for replacing Stefan's photo with her own to let the bitches know I'm up in here running things.
Yes.
So, Camila Vanos, Gabriella DiMeras, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap.
All right, and now it's time for Designer Taste.
What is it? And then a little.
Elegance.
I feel like we should have shoulder pads on.
Yes. Little Linda Evans moment. Yes.
He has some shoulder pads.
You got
Shocking.
shoulders.
Well, that's going to be my drag bag, right?
Okay.
Yeah, shoulder pads will be in your drag bag.
Exactly. Hello. Oh.
Yeah, this week was really tough because some of the dresses this week slayed. But, we're going to give it to Mr. Gilles Marini. Ode to Ted.
He looked good in that blue.
He looked bless his heart that got shot. He just looks absolutely amazing. So, Ted, we will miss you, but you went out looking absolutely fabulous.
He did. He did. Designer taste.
Oh, you are feeling it over there? Feeling it.
I was.
And now it's time for...
Bitch, please. Oh, cameras.
Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Kyle Louder with a hint of Suzanne Rogers.
Oh my God.
Saying, whoop, any whoop.
That's so funny.
This week's caption goes to Red Sock Sarah on Twitter, who I believe has been my caption queen before, with her caption, "Looking good, Mags. Think we can score a Horton girl trifecta before I leave Salem?"
That
I love it. I'm like, okay.
All right.
I mean, he's done every other
Yeah,
Horton
he sure
girl.
has.
Why
He sure
not go to Mama?
Okay.
Anyway, that was this week's.
That's good.
Congrats, Sarah. Red Sox Sarah on Twitter. I think she's usually in the chat room sometimes too, but I don't know if she's there this week.
What was it again? Caption that. Oh, I'm so ready for this, but someone is very embarrassed by it, but she'll like it. And now it's time for... Moment of the week!
We're testing it out. That was the first
She's like, that was the beta test.
Okay, wait. Let's redo that again because everyone was cracking up on it. You have to really get into this moment, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
And now it's time for Moment of the Week.
Okay. All right, this week was hard because it was steamy, but my heart still goes out to Xander and Maggie sharing cookies and cream ice cream together. Just look at him on the couch, so cute.
Mags.
Oh, love
Mags.
Mags. Xander, most people in this town think I'm a terrible person. Maggie, Xander, you've done some terrible things, but I think there's some good in you, and I am so sorry that my daughter hasn't returned your feelings for her. Someday, you're going to find a woman that'll be right for you, but until then, cookies and cream? I love how she said it. Cookies and cream?
But it was such a...
Okay, here we go.
Moment of the Week!
I like it.
It was such a tender moment though. Like even when he took off one of his shoes and not both, which I feel like now that we've had Paul in here, like I feel like that wasn't written in. He was just like, I'm just gonna take off a shoe and throw it. But I felt like he was so vulnerable. Yes. Although he almost spilled tea when he was like, Nicole isn't like herself.
That's
I was
not
like,
her.
Because it's not really Nicole. Or something.
Right.
I was like, bring it back, girl. Bring it back. Bring it back. Rein it in.
Maggie's like, what?
Yeah.
See, he needs to be careful of Maggie. He's so relaxed and comfortable.
Yeah.
He could just spill everything.
Yeah, don't spill it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since you heard this, but since he's here, we gonna make him do it. It's now time for Look Who's Related.
That's so funny.
All right, so I feel like so many people have had questions about Tony and Andre.
And Kristen, and everything.
And Kristen,
I'll explain.
like how they're related. So, Kristen, Tony, Andre.
Okay, go.
Go.
Okay, so if you guys...
But quickly, though, because we know how you... Yeah. Well, you know.
Let me enunciate every syllable of this sentence and go till 5 o'clock.
Mute it.
Yeah, I'm still talking now. But actually, just quickly, remember, all-time viewers, the lady in white.
Yes.
That was Kristen and Peter's mother.
Yes.
Rachel Blake.
Exactly, so you got it. So Kristen and Peter were actually adopted by Stefano. Mm-hmm. They were adopted. So actually, as they rewrote history, when she came back on, there was actually Andre, but at the time we thought it was Tony. Mm-hmm. He was in love with her. Even though they were adopted, they weren't brother and sister biologically, They were adopted. Tony and Andre are actually cousins. Mm-hmm. That's the deal. But Stefano thought of him he thought he was his son. It's a whole big thing with this Daphne DiMeras and all these different things back in the day. But they're actually cousins, and they didn't look alike at first. Andre made himself look like Tony. So they weren't identical at the time. And they became identical, and that's how that kind of started. And that's how they related.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when Teo was here, I told him off camera, I was like, essentially, it was the DiMeras family started with Tony DiMeras and Stefano DiMeras.
Yes.
And actually, Tony was there first.
Tony was there first.
Before Stefano.
And then later on, the DiMeras started coming.
Yeah.
There was, Renee Damone, she was a DiMeras, and there was Megan Hathaway, she was a DiMeras. They all came later.
Yeah.
But Tony was first.
Yeah.
Then Benji DiMeras, they're all dead now, but they all came on later.
Yeah.
He had like 20, 30 kids at some
Yeah, he
point.
did. Well-
And then Lexi became a DiMeras,
Lexi.
Celeste.
Oh.
I miss Alexandria.
Listen,
Lexi.
when Lexi was a DiMeras and she came out
Yes,
in
the
that
red dress.
The
Yeah.
Mother of the Year party.
Yes.
So
yes,
gorgeous.
yes.
I was
Yes.
like, you better
Yes.
get it, Lexi.
Renee Jones, wherever you are.
Yes.
But Tony and Andre, they weren't lookalikes at first. He made themselves look like that, but they were cousins actually. But Stefano thought of Tony as a son,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so he was raised like a DiMeras. Raised
a DiMeras.
So there was
sibling.
never a storyline where Andre was actually Stefano's son.
No, that was all rewritten later and
Got it,
kind of
okay.
when you brought him on.
Yeah. All right, and that has
Cool.
been.
Look who's related.
Gosh, who comes up
A
with
little
those?
slow to that one.
All right, and now it's time for some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so for this week, news and gossip. First of all, we want to send out our best wishes to our friend, the Emmy-winning James Reynolds, who celebrated a birthday past week. We hope you all had a wonderful day and wish you another great year.
Yes.
Yay, happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday.
One of the best guys.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday. And if you couldn't make it to the hot and humid Days of Our Lives meet and greet in Houston, Texas yesterday, here are some fan photos that will make you feel like you were there. Cast members Camila Banus, Lauren Koslow, Deidre Hall, Drake Hogiston, Melissa Reeves, Matt Ashford, Paul Telfer, Lindsay Godfrey, Lamone Archie, and Sal Stowers were at the Memorial City Mall yesterday and greeted fans and signed autographs for 5 hours.
That's amazing. That's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Great turnout, and from the looks of it, everyone had a great time.
Yeah.
It's like half the
Awesome.
cast.
I
Yeah.
had FOMO yesterday. I was like, I kind of wish
I
I was
know.
there.
Yeah.
I totally wanted to be there. I
I've
wish
been
we
to
were
that mall. I've been to that mall in Houston. It's a nice mall.
Is it a good mall?
Mm-hmm, it is.
There-
Houston's
Oh,
big.
it's cute.
There really
Picture.
was a moment when it was announced. I was like,
I know you talked
maybe
about
I'll go. Like, why not? But then,
Yeah, Tammy talked
Yeah.
about driving an
Road
RV
trip.
down there.
it. Oh my God, that's so funny.
That would be our trip in the RV.
Dishin Days RV road trip.
Oh, that's
OMG.
hilarious.
That
That's
would-
hilarious.
That would be so. We could take this on the road. Like we could take our show on the road. You know how much fun.
Michael Madsen's is like, no, but I don't do that. He's like, I don't do that. I'm a tourist too. I'm like, we don't
I'll
do
meet
that.
you
We don't do
there.
that. Yeah, exactly.
listen, baby steps. We drove to Ontario together.
Oh, that's right.
San Bernardino, like the cow that.
That was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So and that
Applebee's,
weekend we
yeah.
spent the Applebee's was the
Chocolate lava cake.
oh that triple chocolate meltdown was everything. But we do have fun together. We do. So maybe it could happen.
I would love it. I can bring the party snacks.
Go on, girl.
Well, here's the thing. I was talking to. We're gonna take phone calls, y'all. So feel free to give us a call 424-354-8302. That's 424-354-8302. We want to hear your thoughts about this week's episodes of Days. I was telling James there was this thought that I had that it would be so fun if like we were able to do like AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days Presents, and we did like events, like
Yes.
around, you know,
That
and
would be
like
so
like
cool.
it would be like, you know, Michael Madis would photograph everything, and then like I would go to one city and host it, and then Tammy, and then Chelsea, and then like maybe one big one where it's all of us.
That would be so cool.
Any investors can.
Yes.
Do we get a sponsor?
Do that.
Michael Sullenberg Wines.
Oh, hey, there you go.
There
Hey,
you
there you
go.
go. Hey, okay.
Oh,
Best
okay.
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, their wine's so good.
But I think that would be fun because a few years ago, this was before y'all's time, but Michael Madis was here for our meet and greet.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the one at the studio.
Yeah. That was the first year
lot
that
of
we
people came.
did it. Yeah.
The place was full.
It was. We got to meet fans. Fans got to see the studio, and then also it started being a game where like
The doorbell rang.
The doorbell would ring.
Who is it?
And like everyone would look because it was always a new star like walking in. We had 11 people pop in.
Yeah.
It was so
We're
fun.
gonna try to do that again this year.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna
good.
try.
Wow.
If you're planning on attending Day of Days this year, we're not sure exactly the date, but it's gonna be in November. So start saving your coins. We are going to try our best to have another meet and greet here at the studio. So keep your eye out for that. I believe we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Kimberly from Maryland.
Hey, Kimberly from Maryland.
Hi, I had a question two questions for James.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Yes. Hi.
You the historian, girl.
Hi, Kimberly.
Well, my first question is, are you ever going to come back to the GH report?
It's
The show he created,
It is
by the
Shady
way.
Sunday, so you tell me what you think. Should I come back?
Yes.
I love you. Thank you for saying that. I love you. Thank you. What's your second question?
But you
My
didn't.
second
Hold on,
question is,
Kimberly.
I remember your first episode on Dishin Days where you were so quiet.
I was.
Was that the real James,
happened?
or is this the real James?
Okay, well, here's the thing. So I came on to support Peter. I was kind of just coming on to fill in because Tony was out of town, and it was my first time on television as a host. I had never done it before.
Yeah.
And I was just there to support Peter and get him kind of like out of his shell.
The first time is always.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was a little demure, which I'm not a demure person at all in real life. But after third or fourth time I came on, I was James Lott Jr. fully. But I was there to support
Yeah.
Peter mostly. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it was for. I was kind of there. I didn't know I was gonna be back at all. I wasn't even at AfterBuzz TV fully or anything. I was just like, let me just come on and I'll fill in and see what happens. And I was there to support him. But this is the real James Lott Jr. as you know me.
That has always been James Lott Jr. The James Lott Jr. you saw in that episode was a false.
It was just a quieter version, and that was almost 5 years ago. It's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, that was.
Yeah, a long time ago.
All right. Well, thank you, Kimberly from Maryland.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks, Kimberly.
It's so funny.
We always tell this story, but James came on to fill in for me, and I think like twice before we finally met.
Yeah, before we met. Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but he was like worried as far as like what I thought, like if he did okay and everything like that. And I came into the room and I was like, "Oh, hey, James," and like gave him a hug and everything. And then he told me, he was like, "Oh, that's when I felt like, oh, okay." And he was like, "I was nervous." I was like, "Why are you nervous?" Like,
Because it was
it's
his
just
show.
me.
It wasn't my show. It was your. To me, you were the leader. It was your show. I didn't know what. I mean, I didn't know what to expect.
Well, you did fine.
It's okay, I guess.
That's why you ended up here.
They could get rid of me. You can get rid of me after that.
We tried to. We tried to lock this door. He keeps coming in anyway. We got another caller on
Days
the
of Our
line.
Lives fan Melissa Boyette in the chat room says, "Oh, I love James. He's so funny and hot."
Oh, James.
I'm 50 years old. I'll take it.
Oh.
Take it.
Betty.
You.
Hello,
Kitty.
caller. You're on live on AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
it's the white. I can tell.
Hello, James.
Hi. How are you?
Dwight,
there.
did you have a question or a comment about this week's episodes of Days?
Yes.
Okay.
The Christian Nicole thing
Mm-hmm.
was really questionable.
Oh, how so? What did you question?
Was she really? Is she? Well, she keeps taking her mask off
Uh-huh.
every time there was a mistake was made or something. Then the other thing was, Kristen told Nicole was talking to Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brady was having a dream that Kristen was really talking to him, and he woke up.
Oh, that
And there was
was
Nicole.
that was
That is
the
it.
that was the flashback of the last time Brady and Kristen were together.
yeah.
I think the moment you're thinking of when Kristen was talking to Brady was Kristen imagining her talking to Brady and having that moment, and then when she woke up and felt her face and realized she was Nicole, I think that's when she started thinking about revealing herself to Brady. Would you guys agree on that? Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting because you really have to really pay attention to the switch and the double doozies and stuff.
Because everyone's got their own stories in their heads.
Yeah.
You know, their own perfect scenarios they want to see played out.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dwight, for calling in. We appreciate you.
Hi, Dwight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dwight.
Bye, Dwight.
Thanks, Dwight. Before we take this caller, Tammy this week showed us a clip from right here in California of a Brazilian gang member whose daughter came to visit him in prison, and he literally put on a mask to look like her and was going to walk out
And the wig?
It was a wig, mask, glasses, little kid shirt, bra, pants, everything. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff really does happen.
So scary.
It was a trip.
Yeah,
Gosh.
And what I heard, because I saw this story somewhere else, they said the reason why they stopped was because of his nervousness.
He was nervous.
He was nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, whew.
And it wasn't just a face mask. It was a full on, went over to down to his neck.
Yeah.
And
when he was taking it off, it was that moment of
yeah. And he looked totally different from what that mask looked
He
like.
did.
And on the new, I saw it on KTLA, and they were like, "Oh, that's unbelievable!" And I was like, "Y'all don't watch Days of Future."
Been there, seen it.
Yeah, been there, done that. I was like, whew. All right, let's take this next caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Mike Riley from New York.
Hi, Mike Riley from New York.
Oh.
Yes, that voice.
Hello, Mike Riley from New York.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Hi, James.
Hello there.
What's your question? Oh, you know how to do this.
I don't
guys.
have anything to say about Days. Actually, it was great. It was great. It was terrific. I loved it. Gonna see it over and over. Take wife and kids and all that. But I am calling for Tammy today. I just want to say that your hair looks so effing amazing right now.
Oh.
I feel like you changed the color and the cut, and it just looks so good. You look like femme fatale from the 50s, but a punk rock chick from the 70s. Like a villainess from the 40s. It's so good.
Thank you, Mike.
Your hair looks
So
amazing.
Thank you so much.
That. All right,
Thank you,
Tammy
thank you.
Govea. And that hair. Giving it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike Riley. We appreciate you.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Bye, Mike Riley.
Bye, Mike Riley. We love you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take this next caller.
He's gone. He's gone.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. He's gone.
Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's me, World.
Oh,
Hey, Me World.
Me
Oh,
World.
he's got his own.
Yeah, Me World. While we have you on, what's your old shiz moment of the week?
Well, my old cheese moment of the week, Stefan, being the stupid person that he is, picks up the gun, and Eli walks in and finds him with the gun and tells Gabi in a pool of blood. Oh shit.
Thank you, Me World.
The best.
Me World, did you have a question or comment about this week, or did you call in to do your segment?
Actually, well, I have a question for James.
Hi.
It's about Sarah and Eric.
How does James get all the questions?
Hi.
You ain't popular.
I'm like, what's going on? Hi. What's going on? What's your question?
Do you have any shady Sundays for Sarah and Eric? Because I really don't like them.
I do have some shade for them too.
Well, that was shady, Me World.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Sarah Eric fan. Sorry, not. I like Sarah and Xander together. So I'm rooting for them, and I love. Trust me, Lindsay Goffey's a friend of mine. I love Grapevine. I know him. I love that. I love the actor, so I'll make sure that's known. But the shade is, I don't like them together. I wish they weren't together. Eric used to be with Nicole, so I'm all about
Nicole dead.
Supposedly dead.
James, did you hear about Nicole?
Nicole what?
Dead.
She's gone.
Did you hear about Ted?
Yeah, dead. So I'm a Sarah and Xander fan. I see the chemistry off the charts between them. I see it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So that's my shade for. They need to go that direction.
Shady Sunday.
Shady Sunday.
Well, thank you, Me-World, for calling in. We appreciate you.
Well, I have one comment about that, about Sarah and Eric.
Yeah.
I'm getting really sick and tired of the writers trying to shut Sarah and Eric down with quotes. It's like we are the team and they are feeling us Brussels sprouts. I'm not for it.
Did you say something like Brussels sprouts?
Yes.
Amazing.
I like Brussels sprouts though, but that's no story.
He said
He's
it's
gone.
like feeling like Brussels sprouts.
That's hilarious. He went some Shady Sunday.
Shady Sunday.
That's
Well,
right.
thank you, Me-World, for calling in. We
Yes.
appreciate you and your segment. I thoroughly enjoy that.
I love
Shady
getting shade.
Sunday.
I love getting shade.
I will say this week when Sarah and Eric got together, and I said earlier, it was too soon, number one. And number two, when they were together, I was just kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like,
not sure.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's take one more caller and then wrap this up in a bow. Put a little bow. Oh, are they gone?
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Right.
He's gone. Oh, hey.
This is the last caller. We'll take it. Hello, caller. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. Make sure you turn down your tablet or
Device.
computer or device. You're on live with us. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, it's Sarah.
Hi,
Hi,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah is quick to pick up this phone now. I love it. Go ahead, Sarah. What do you think about this week's episodes of Days?
Well, I'm kind of done with Sarah and Eric now.
You like Sarah and Eric?
She's done.
Oh, you're done.
I did, but I don't like Mostly Eric anymore. Thanks so
Same.
much.
Yeah.
Same.
Mopey Eric, that's awesome.
It's so weird how we were all rooting for Sarah and Eric.
Yeah.
And now that we got what we wanted, we're
in the
like,
mix.
Xander
I know.
changed everything.
because we saw the softer side of Xander.
Oh, it was Maggie, because of Maggie.
Yeah.
Mags.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that.
Any other thoughts on this week, Sarah?
And I really wish that Rex didn't have to leave. I kind of want to see the new bromance in Salem, him and Xander.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that would have actually been a really interesting bromance on that. So, yeah. Well,
Yeah, because Rex said he enjoyed his drinking companion
yeah.
together.
Sure did. Well, we'll never be able to see what could have been. So, but thank you, Sarah, for calling in. We
Thanks, Sarah.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Oh man, I had a thought, and now I pulled a Mark J. Freeman.
Oh, he always forgets it. He always forgets it.
Shout out to Lamone Archie for tweeting out the shirtless photo of Paul Telford.
Yes, thank you, Lamone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
gratuitous shirtless.
Well, because the caption was
He said it for the ladies.
For the ladies.
I was like,
You can thank
and I
me
was sitting
later.
over there like,
well, I tweeted back to him. I was like, it's not just for the ladies. I was like, some
I
men's
bet
are.
it is.
I was drinking wine on my patio, and I I was like, men's are enjoying that too.
Okay. He's like,
The
okay.
men's-
Then the next morning, I was like, whatever, it's there. It's there.
well, too late now. See what happens when a bottle of Michael Salberg.
Michael Sullivan, yeah, exactly. On that
But
patio,
also,
man.
what's funny is Paul Telford's on Twitter all the time. He's hilarious. He
He is.
responds
Yeah.
to things, he tweets stuff. He's a lot of fun.
Yes.
I love that. All right, well, it was a great week, and that's it. Michael Mattis, tell the kind folks where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter at MLMattis1 and on Instagram at MLMattis.
And Miss Chelsea.
You can find me on Instagram at Chelsea Overocker and on Twitter at Chelsea Overocker.
Tammy Gobea with the coiffed hair.
With your femme
You can
fataleness
find
over
this
there.
on Twitter at Tammy Gavea and then Insta Tammy.Gavea. Follow.
And James Lott Jr., where can they find you?
Well, this time, everybody keep your fingers crossed. This time next week, I'm at an award show. Maybe I'll win. I don't know. I'll
Which
two
one
awards. For Best Host and Best Show for Breaking Into Black Hollywood Live.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
I'll be in D.C.
Oh,
So keep your fingers crossed.
Yay.
And my tux is ready and everything. So we'll see if everybody says I'm going to win. I don't know if I'm going to win or not, but I'm happy to be nominated.
We'll root for you.
Thank you, please. Please
Send you some
see.
winning vibes.
Yeah, and everything.
But
so.
that wasn't the question. Where
But
can they
I would
find
say
you?
that, of course. Like Tony, I'll finally get to my question, my answer. It is at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms where you can find James Lott Jr.'s at.
And of course, you guys can find both James and Tammy Govea right after our show for the Bold Breakdown.
Ooh, good show, too.
They are going to give you all the latest and greatest of the bold and the beautiful. But until then, you can find all of us on social media. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram and _Dishin Days on Twitter. And of course, you can find little old me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you,
guys.
Thank you, Ryan, in the booth for
Thanks,
all of
Ryan.
your bells and whistles.
Ryan.
We'll see you guys the next Sunday for another full recap of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.